The city never sleeps in Mumbai. Glass towers glow, stretching high into the night sky. Traffic moves like veins, carrying life through the streets. Screens flicker, bright and impatient, reflecting the rhythm of the city itself. Inside one of those towers sits Arav, successful by every visible metric: wealth, influence, recognition. Yet tonight, he feels something unfamiliar, a quiet stillness that the city cannot offer. Earlier that day, he had stood in a hospital corridor, the bright white lights reflecting off the polished floor. His father's heartbeat monitor had gone silent, the beeping gone, the life gone. And in that silence, something else stopped too. His illusion of control, everything he thought he could command, suddenly felt fragile, temporary, uncertain. After the funeral, his eyes fall on an old notebook, worn, familiar. It belonged to his father. One sentence is underlined: control the mind, accept the rest. He reads it again, letting the words settle. Words that feel heavier than paper, yet lighter than the weight he has carried for years. For years, Arav had fought markets, competitors, critics, circumstances. He mistook control for power, thought if he could bend the world, he could bend his life. But markets rise and fall. People praise, gun and criticize. Situations shift without warning. And the only thing that remained unstable was his reaction. That small human choice, whether to react with fear, with anger, with surrender, or with awareness. For the first time, he begins observing his thoughts instead of obeying them, watching each one without judgment, without urgency. And that is where his real strength begins. Not in power, not in control over others, but in mastery over the self. Quiet, steady, unshakable. Late at night, Arav scrolls through old messages. Each message feels familiar and distant. Call me when you're free. Proud of you. Take care of your health. Words that once felt warm now echo with emptiness. He was never free. Meetings demanded him. Deals commanded his attention. Growth always urgent, always pressing. Life felt like a race he could never pause, and yet time never warned him before it left. It simply disappeared, silently, unnoticed. And now he finally understands. Busyness is not importance. Not every urgent task deserves your mind. Not every demand defines your worth. He begins to guard his hours, to protect them as precious assets, because in truth, they are success. It had softened him, quietly, in ways he barely noticed. Luxury had shaped his life, but also dulled him. Then, after his father's death, everything changed. He left the penthouse behind, the city skyline, the endless praise, the comfort that had once defined him. He returned to the old family home, modest, simple, familiar. No luxury, no constant applause, no accolades, only routine. Early mornings where the sun rose and waited for no one. Quiet reading, absorbing lessons from pages rather than screens. Simple exercises, stretching the body and the mind. Silence, sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes clarifying. Comfort had once shaped the world around him. Now discipline shapes who he is. At the business event, the room greeted him warmly. Smiles, handshakes, congratulations. Faces that had once looked away now sought attention, admiration, connection. He noticed something that had been hidden until now. Approval is conditional. Respect built on numbers, on success. Temporary. It never needed to be given. It never needed to be earned for its own sake. It was a reflection of circumstance, of performance, not of true value. And so he stopped performing for rooms. He stopped explaining his choices. He stopped announcing his goals to those who would judge or forget. In that stillness, peace quietly returned. It was subtle.
Guard the mind, steady the breath, measure your days, remember death. Not every gain deserves your chase, not every loss is your disgrace. Stand in truth, reduce desire, strength is quiet, not loud fire. The music does not explode, it stabilizes, just like him.
When he rebuilds his business, smaller, wiser, he expects ridicule. It never comes. He expects whispers in corridors, doubt in their eyes, quiet satisfaction from those who waited for him to fail. There is none. He expects collapse, another fall, another sleepless night. It doesn't happen. The systems hold, the numbers stabilize, the team moves calmly and slowly. He sees it clearly. Fear had painted the future louder than reality. He realizes fear exaggerates what discipline can handle. Most disasters exist only in imagination, not in effort, not in preparation, but in the mind before action begins. A young associate asks him, "Don't you want to dominate the market again?" Arav doesn't answer immediately. He studies the question, not with ego, but with clarity. "I want sustainability, not domination." There was a time when desire controlled him, when growth meant conquest, when scale meant superiority. Now it is different. Ambition remains, but it is guided, measured, disciplined. It no longer demands applause. It answers to principles. He no longer waits to feel inspired. He wakes early whether he feels like it or not. Some days feel sharp, some feel heavy. He shows up anyway. He works with clarity, not intensity. No frantic urgency, no dramatic pushes, just steady execution. And when the day ends, he rests, without guilt, without proving anything. He understands something now. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Emotion rises, emotion falls, structure remains. And structures outlast emotions. One evening, he sits in the courtyard with a cup of tea, no phone, no notifications, no urgency, waiting behind the next minute, just the breeze against his skin, the warmth of the cup in his hands, the rhythm of his own breathing. For years, he lived in projections. Next quarter, next deal, next milestone, always arriving somewhere in the future, never standing where he was. Now, he understands something simple. The present is not a transition. It is life itself. On his father's anniversary, he walks slowly to the resting place. He does not feel crushed. He feels instructed. Death did not destroy him. Instead, it revealed what truly matters: health, integrity, time, character. Everything else is negotiable. Years later, Arav is respected again, but this time it feels different. Not because of revenue, but because of steadiness. In a meeting, someone asks, "What's the key to lasting success?" He answers, "Slowly, deliberately, build a character strong enough to survive success." Silence fills the room, not dramatic, certain. Arav walks at sunrise, no rush, no performance, no noise. This is the truth. Men often learn it too late to undo what was wasted, too late to realize what mattered most. You do not control outcomes, you do not control time, but you can control your mind. Discipline it, govern desire, invest in character. Because when status fades, when time runs out, character is the only asset that remains calm, certain, unshaken.